Hi there, and welcome to the Creatives Get Real podcast. I'm Roben-Marie.
And I'm Sandi Keene, and these are real conversations about the creative life. Hey, Robin.
Hey, Sandi. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the mountains.
Oh, it feels so good to be here.
Isn't it awesome?
It is. It's cool, and there's trees everywhere, and it's shady, and birds all around. It's great.
Yes, we are in the mountains of North Carolina, which is one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. Yeah, I am my happiest here.
Yeah.
And I have brought you to make you happy too.
I know. I was saying earlier how much I feel, I'm finally feeling relaxed, and I feel very noodly, which is not a word, but it's very relaxed. You know, noodles where they're all like loose and just kind of, yeah. It's been great, and I'm sleeping great. Yeah, it's been nice. I'm really happy to be here.
And we're not sweating.
No, we're not, which is a great benefit because Florida is really hot right now.
I don't think either one of us have said the word humid.
No, not once.
Since we got here.
We've said it's not humid.
Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah.
So we're doing art and we're working on projects together. We're actually working on, hold on people, a collaboration.
Woohoo! Yes, we are. Did you listen to that podcast episode? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know that this is not easy for Robin, but she's doing a great job.
We're having fun.
We're working together.
So what are we talking about today?
Yeah, we have a good topic today. Our topic is what holds you back?
From creative pursuits.
Yes.
Not specifically related to holding you back in your creative process, but in those things that you dream about, that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, where you say, one day I'd like to do this, or boy, I wish I could do that, or I want to do this, but there's something holding you back.
Right.
That's what we're going to talk about today.
And this is something that I think we all know and are familiar with, and it happens to everyone, where you have that dream of, whatever. It could be a technique, like me looking at watercolor for years going, I'd love to do that, but it's way too hard.
Right, exactly.
Which just gave away why I didn't do watercolor for years. So let's take one. Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead. You can take the first one.
I'm going to pick fear. So fear is a big one. And don't you think that's probably the number one reason that people don't do?
Yeah. I mean, I was just telling you about the dream I had last night. And you said, true. Okay, interpreting that, it's fear. I mean, I had a dream about something coming up, and it didn't go the way it was supposed to. Everything went wrong, and that's exactly what it is. It's deep down. I've got this fear. Yes, even after all of these years, I still feel it. And it is. And we talk about it. We know what it is. But it's like logically trying to overcome that is hard.
It is hard. Because there can be teeny tiny fears, like when you pick up a paintbrush and the voices in your head are going to say to you, that's not going to work out.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick that?
Why try? Why even bother?
Why are you? To big things like, here's this giant collaboration that, you want to do with someone and you're thinking, holy cow, why did I even take this on?
Right.
So, big fears, little fears, medium fears. We face a lot of them, don't we?
Yeah, and we do. In our whole life, in many aspects of our lives, we do. But creatively, because I think it's so personal and it's so... it's part of who we are, being a creative, that it's almost like if something doesn't work, or that fear of, okay, I can't be this good, or I'm not going to be able to do it, it's so cutting to you.
Right.
I mean, it really hurts.
Yeah, it damages your self-worth.
Yeah.
It's like you think of yourself differently.
Yeah. And then the next time you go, well, why try? Because,
I failed last time.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I probably shouldn't even try it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Why even bother?
Right. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I agree.
What's one you think of?
Okay. So I'm thinking inexperience and lack of knowledge. I mean, really, that's a big one too, because you might think, well, who am I to do X, Y, Z? I don't know enough.
Right.
I'm not experienced enough like so-and-so is. And maybe it's something, we'll use something we can all relate to. Maybe it's teaching. It's teaching. I remember when I first started teaching, I was encouraged by someone to submit a class idea to a retreat, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not at the level of these other instructors and who's teaching there. I don't even know how to teach. How do I even do this?
Right.
So there's that lack of experience, obviously, and lack of knowledge. But everyone starts at a point where they have less knowledge and less experience. And in order to get that,
gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least that one is easily overcome. I mean,
Yep.
you just jump in, you take classes, you
That's right.
get a mentor, you get a coach, you get whatever you need to get you to the next step, and you just go for it.
Yeah, you're right. And then each time, it gets a little easier because you're like, okay, I can do this. I have the experience. And even beyond that, there's still going to be times where you're going to say, I still don't have enough. Because that's the fear talking to you, saying you don't have enough experience and you don't have enough knowledge. I mean, you can always gain more, obviously, but don't let that hold you back.
Right.
Because you do. You have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about lack of self-confidence. And I want to piggyback that with something that you just said, which is you spoke about comparison. You didn't call it that, but that's what you're doing.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the two of those, lack of self-confidence and comparison. Because comparison comes up in the creative life just about daily. Yeah, anytime, especially if you're on social media and you're looking around, you're thinking, wow, that person is either, has a huge following or is so talented, or they have these fabulous opportunities that nobody's knocking on my door.
Right.
It's easy to let that get you down.
Yeah, and when I think about that, I also think, okay, but that same person that you're looking at is looking at someone who is further down the road, who very much could be thinking the same thing about that other person.
Right.
It's like, and I don't know where I heard it or who's coined it, but the saying goes, you cannot compare your beginning to someone's middle or someone else's end. You can't compare your middle to someone else's end. You're in a different place. And it's hard to do this. It really is. It's hard to look at others and be like, because you're aspiring to something. Right. So you're looking and you're like, man, I'd really like to be able to travel and teach art courses. But, oh my goodness, I could never be this person, or I could never do that because, they have this skill or this talent or whatever. But that person at one point, they may be looking at somebody else. Maybe it's somebody who teaches in the States who's looking at somebody that teaches internationally. But they started somewhere too. Right. So it's easy to compare.
It is. It's very easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's yours? Tech experience.
Okay, this is your forte, so take it, baby.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this one. And even I have come up against this because I started somewhere too. There was a time when I had no idea how to edit video. I had to teach myself. I had to learn it. I had to figure it out. Now, granted, I do have that tech side of me that grasps things easily in that area. But that's a big one, I think, especially today, because everything is tech-based. I mean, everything from, using social media to having a website. And I find a lot when I'm talking with my students and those that are in my Makers Tech U membership that is one of the things that does hold them back. They have the confidence, they have the I want tos, but they're held back because they just don't know how to do the next step. And it can be hard too, even just to find somebody to help you. Right. And financially, it might not be in the budget to be able to hire someone to do a full-fledged website for you, or to be able to edit your videos. And so there are some things that you really do need to learn how to do. I believe, even as creatives, there's certain things we need to learn how to do from a tech standpoint. Other things could be hired out, but it's good to have control over that and be able to handle a lot of that yourself. And then you gain more confidence too.
That's true.
In doing it.
That's true.
We've even talked about this. There was a time when you weren't video filming, and it was like
you made me do my first video. I mean, you literally came to my house and said, dude,
we got to do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. Yeah. And I'm going to show you. And I know you can do this.
And you helped me. Yeah. And I did a deli paper flowers tutorial 5 years ago.
I think so, yeah.
And it's on YouTube. And I was talking to my husband. I said, last time I checked, 5,000 people had watched it. And I looked again. It was up to 14,000.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, really? Who is watching that? But yes, you just don't know how. And when you don't, it becomes so overwhelming. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be small things like, how do I post on Instagram?
Right.
How do I do an Instagram story? How do I do IGTV? How do I do Facebook? It can be
all
small.
Those things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that drives me a lot to help people, well, there's a lot of things, but even when I'm looking for something because I'm not sure how to do it, if you don't even know what it's called, how do you Google it to even find how to do it?
Yeah.
You don't know the terminology.
I don't know the question to ask.
That's right. And you can spend so much time trying to figure something out because you don't really know where to start.
Right.
So it can, and I really think that's a hurdle that is hard for creatives to overcome.
I agree. I mean,
that's a tough one.
If luckily you and I are friends, because if I would still not have a good website. I have a crappy website. and it was you offering to help and then badgering me because that had to happen because I was dragging my feet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a website. So, yeah, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's a big hurdle. And I can see why people come to your Maker's Tack and say, please help me. Don't make me do this on my own.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have a lifeline, or as I like to say it, it's like having me on retainer. You kind of, if you need me, I'm kind of there for you. I'm not going to do it all for you, but I'm going to help you and I'm going to walk you through it, because there's going to be that time when you just say, I don't know what to look for. And I don't know why this is happening. And it's like, okay.
Right.
So it's good and this segues right into the next one. And that is
lack of community.
There you go. Your resources, where do you go?
Exactly.
Support, help. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could literally talk for, at least I could, and you probably could too, talk for days about community, because it is so important when you're doing any creative pursuit and you need support, you need encouragement, you need advice. You need, somebody to wipe your tears and say, it's okay. Yeah. I can help you with that. Mm-hmm. How do I post to Instagram?
It's such a relief, too. Yeah. But just the encouragement, and I mean, we've talked about this on, I think, a couple of different podcasts. We've touched on it, on occasion, but it's just important because we, as creatives, a lot of time we're alone, and it's hard to get out of our own heads and just be encouraged. I mean, I think it's finding those friends that you can just say, hey, can we just do a call for an hour once a month and just see how we're doing and check in? And it's amazing the brainstorming session you can have where you can encourage each other and say, well, maybe you should try that, or that's a great idea. Have you thought about this? And then those ideas kind of bounce off. But it's good to have a community where you can get encouraged and, like you said, have some support. It's just so important.
So let's talk about places where, if people don't have community, where can they go to find it? Because we're telling them that it's vital. It was definitely vital in my journey. Right. And I'm going to assume it was in yours as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where do you go?
I've said before, Facebook is not my favorite platform, but there is a group for everything. And I've met some awesome friends through Facebook groups, whether it was starting out in a Facebook group that was part of a course, because right there, you've got something in common. You guys are working together on this project and you're going through a class together, but there's groups for every topic that you can imagine. And I think it's easy to find people that are like you and have similar interests in the groups. And then you just start communicating and you reach out and you just encourage within the group. And then it's almost like the magnet happens and the right people kind of gravitate to each other. It's amazing how that happens.
It's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, at least for me, that has been probably the biggest way. Or as we've talked about on a past podcast, how we met, it was just being brave and reaching out to somebody near you to say, hey, I like to do the same things you do.
We live near each other.
And although that took a lot of courage to do that, because you just don't know. I mean, that was a tough thing to do. So
thank goodness I did it though.
Yeah. I know. I can't even imagine what things would be like if we hadn't met. Truly.
No.
Yeah.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I would probably be sitting in my craft studio alone, painting, going, well, this stinks. And I might have given up by now. I don't know. Honestly.
We wouldn't have had a podcast, that's probably for sure.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a lot of things.
Creatives Gets Real would not be existing. So, well, how about you? What do you think is a good...
I get a lot of community on Instagram.
Yes.
So that's one of my favorite places. And that's through following people and commenting. Yep. If there's a conversation going on, jump in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because there have been some really great conversations that happen there. Yeah. And then retreats, that's a wonderful way as well to meet people.
You're right. Yeah.
It can be expensive.
Yeah.
That's a treat for yourself. I guess that's why the word treat is in retreat.
Retreat, that's right. Yeah.
That can be expensive, but you can meet people that you stay friends with forever.
And you're right about that, because it's been a long time since I've taught. Well, last year I did teach at a retreat, but I mean, I had done them much more so in the mid to 2005, whatever. But I met a lot of people that I'm still friends with today.
Right.
That I still communicate with, and we still, it's amazing. But you're right, because then you really are meeting face to face, and you're really getting a different sense of somebody.
And you're spending a lot of time with them.
That's right, yeah.
Because, I mean, nobody goes to bed at a retreat. There's no sleeping.
Well, I do, of course. But
you do, but
you're right.
You're still together at least 12 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And it's intense, and you're having fun, and you're just you really do spend a lot of time getting to know people. I mean, that person that sits next to you, by the time the class is done, you pretty much know them. I mean, if they're a talker, some people aren't, but yeah. Great point. Retreats, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk local classes. That's a good way. If you have a scrapbook store or an art store that has classes, you're going to meet people there.
That's right. And that too can be a little scary for people, I think. And I've known people that have said, I went, and then, you kind of I want to introduce myself, and I want to say hi, and I want to get to know other people. And I know it's not easy for everybody. There are people who are shy.
Right.
But it's so worth it.
It is. Mm-hmm. Are we both shy? Because I can be shy, and I'm an introvert.
I'm definitely an introvert. But I'm an extroverted introvert. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those that I love getting to know people, but I can be still quite reserved. Mm-hmm. I think it's just more of a kind of, I got to feel everything out a little bit first and get a sense of things. Yeah. But when I'm done, that's why when I check out, I check out. I have to rejuvenate by being alone. So, but I wouldn't say I'm shy. No. I wouldn't be the girl at the dance that's hiding in the corner going, please nobody talk to me. That would not be me. But I wouldn't be the one that's the center of attention either. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I can be shy, but a lot of it is because I'm introverted, and I find large groups overwhelming. Mm-hmm. It's weird. If I'm speaking to a group, I'm fine. But if I'm the only person that I know and I have to go seek people, that's when I get reserved, and it's why didn't I bring somebody with me? In fact, I usually try to. Yeah,
it's funny because when I was younger, I was different. I think as I've gotten older, maybe I'm just more protective of myself. I don't know. But when I was younger, I worked in public relations and marketing. I had to be out and talking to people and going to mixers and all. Back before we had the internet, you had to do networking, where you had to actually go in person. And then you handed out these things called business cards. And talk to people. And I used to dread them. But when I got there, it was okay, it's like a switch. You just I got to switch this on, But now I'm just, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to do that now, but.
Old school.
Old school. Yeah. Yeah.
So what can we say as a wrap up to encourage people who are facing some of these things and are feeling, kind of held back or stuck or whatever?
Well, I think identify for you what you think it is. And there's got to be other things too. We just picked out these, but don't think that you're going to be able to overcome all of these at one time, because it's going to be harder for you. But I think if you can identify perhaps something that we talked about it being a creative pursuit. So identify what that creative pursuit is. Where are you right now? Is it my creative pursuit is I want to fear? Is it you just feeling not a lot of self-confidence? Do you feel like you just don't have the tech experience to do it? Identify one of those, whatever it is, and then figure out what can I do?
That's a good idea.
What can I do? Break it down to where you're not feeling that, oh my gosh, I identify with all of those. Well, let's just take one of those things right now and let's work on that one thing. And then go from there.
Yeah. And find community. I would think that's a key to this, is find other people to help you and support you and to say, me too, because those are some of the most powerful words ever is me too, because it's like, really? I'm not alone? No, you're not alone.
No. And I think too, I do get a lot of emails, and I'm sure you do as well, where people reach out and they just say, I hope it's okay if I contact you, but I have a question, or they just want somebody to hear them, and they just want somebody to say, oh yeah, I can answer that for you, or I can give you a suggestion, or I can encourage you.
Right.
And that's a great thing, because this is a wonderful community. Artists are great.
They really are.
We understand because we've all been in those places, and oftentimes it's easier for us to do that behind the scenes through an email or, through communicating on social. That's a little less scary than, the face-to-face. So if you feel compelled to reach out to somebody, like, for instance, you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I really identify with this, shoot us an email. We would love to hear from you. That's part of community too.
Right. So they would just go to our websites, hit our contact, and send us an email.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a great way to end it. And
yeah,
I hope they do. We'll see if anybody emails us.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. I mean, that's part of why we are doing this podcast, is we want to share our knowledge and advice and
fears.
And fears. Yeah, because
you're not alone.
No, you're not.
And we all go through it.
We do. All right, I think the boiled peanuts are ready. I hear the alarm going off, so we got to go.
Yes.
All right.
Boiled peanuts.
Yay. Okay. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Creatives Get Real.
We love hearing from you. So hop on over to Instagram and leave us a comment. And we also appreciate reviews on iTunes.
And you can find me, Sandi Keene, at sandykeene.com, and my classes at popupartclasses.com.
And you can find me, Roben-Marie Smith, at robenmarie.com. And if you're looking for and need tech support, check out my membership site, makerstechu.com.